overall station is a dancehall star, an overall station. Murder all other station. Overall, we love you in every way. Overall, kill all jump and station every day. And I know why.
Nobody hyper than Blacker representing for overall setting.
We gotta give thanks. We got to give thanks, yes, for the ones that come before us, and we gotta shake hands. Hi, this is Singing Melody, and I'll be on the Overall Settings podcast.
Overall Settings.
Yeah, me know, overall settings.
Ashes. Burn them down all the way. Don't know Rasjama represent for overall settings.
Man, it's all about overall settings.
It's all about overall.
Live on the overall setting podcast.
Overall settings. Watch your friends, watch your friends, watch your keeper. Watch your friends, watch your friends, watch your keeper. Watch your friends, know your friends. Overall settings, turn up the ends.
This is the rocket sound. Yeah. Nottingham, build up, we are gonna kill a sound. Build up, we are gonna murder. Yeah.
V-Rocket is a bona fide, phenomenal sound system.
Ruben and them man and Parliament, them man there is a man when we look on them man and string up sound in your feet. Look on them man and say, Chad.
We know we then are gonna go beat up nobody. But we say, you know what? We could go fling the two tune them we have and play with sound, you know.
Sound system wise. Quick and give you a lesson.
I said, boy, I was more interested in this side of the sound.
We kind of like work together to build the cabinets. I would design them.
Valerie joining us was like a piece that was missing.
Wherever V-Rocket is, I have to be there. Because V-Rocket used to play on the blues on the ice and green spot, but it's not even there anymore.
It wasn't just the crew were just flying in with just music, you know. We are support the sound.
1987, V-Rocket touched down in Jamaica.
Them up there every day till night. We go home, leave them all a while.
I'm here in the art of reggae music, mate.
We know say them go to Jamaica now, you know, and come back and everything hot. So we have to go up there now, go face this.
That was one hell of a dance.
We take it glad. We bash up. Anything come in the front of we will lick it, my man.
They have to watch it as a country sound, and not me come from and town sound afraid.
But anytime them buck up from we, it was always a problem. I will never forget that clash. When I said the dance, ram, it know the play ram.
And I remember Rocket Day, you know, they surprised the London crowd.
V-Rocket, English sound with yard style of foreign.
Nobody can stop them. I know today.
V-Rocket, me I talk about, you know. People V-Rocket, me I talk about.
That's country unite.
The country
unite. Them go to London, can control London.
That was like a crazy dance. V-Rocket, yeah, amazing.
Like I V-Rocket, the 80-year England sound.
I used to studied belly in and I set the ball of Sabola. The youth have to start playing on the song. You know.
Val B always watch the audience and I look away to bust the crowd. I love that with him still, you know.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm the guy right now that's got a point to prove. His ideas then, when bring to the table, was really on point.
When I was let loose in the archive with the records, the 45s, the 12 inches, the LPs, the dub plates, it was like, wow.
I build a lot of sound and you don't even hear about them anymore, you know? But I'm still hearing about V-Rocket.
God bless them, because if them never start the little 50-watt sound system, what our journey would be, we would never know.
This sound is V-Rocket sound, the whole world we've been around. Oh, yeah. Dub plate special, sound clash killing sound.
With him like a hazmat caddy. Me want the leadership when name Michael Manley. A special request to all junglist passy. Me love me like, me love me like, me love me PMP. Me love me like Mr. Manley. Now, put up your one if you love Manley. Chocote rocking in a category. Lord of East. I'm Boer Road Selector. Selassie, I know. I'm going to get in the insect lyrics. No Papa Ian Slick. I want you to shock out rough and tough. I know.
Not like that.
Hold on, where you stop it for? How you stop it? How you stop it?
Not like dance. Not like dance. Not like dance hard. You get what I say? I mean, me a boy, me there from me idea, meaning. So at the end of the day, me never really grew up in it. But you know, I'm a culture we born in, I'm a green stain on me. You know, and I'm just so freaking excited tonight for the guests them will be have.
Hold on, I hope you have more drops, you know, because I hope you have enough more drops, because you play that little piece and you just, yo, the skin catch a fire.
We know you're not getting that little vibe. We know you're not getting that little vibe.
Skin
You know what I'm saying?
fire,
No, but me just
hope you have more drops.
You never feel like you're in a dance a while ago.
You know what I say?
And I like when you're 8-year-old and you hook up all a empty bottle with beer water in it and you stay so. And I wind up all under one big woman and all this. So we know.
And I'm a fat thing, man.
Me know you catch a vibe a while ago. I mean, I don't think people understand you know, the enormity. It's not even a word. I mean, maybe that's something me just make up along the way. But no, I mean, this is overall settings, the podcast that differs, where we always highlight the icons of yesteryear who chop the bush for the current icons of today, who set the stage for the future icons.
Talk it the real way. We don't want to follow nobody. We want to do food things.
Yeah, man. Exactly.
We don't want to do what nobody else
Exactly.
We want to do what nobody else
Exactly. And we just love to give people them flowers while them there. I mean, tonight's guests kind of fall under everything what we stand for, because, you know, when we highlight the icons of yesteryear, you know, when you talk about sound business, you have to talk about, you know, tonight's guest. When you highlight the icons who set the stage for the current icons of today, they are still active until this day. You know what I say? And they might bring on new youth, even as we speak, although, you know, they've been in the business for so long. So therefore, them kind of cover the future as well. And then when you start talking about documentary, when you say documentary,
I can't wait for season.
Well, no, man. When you talk about documentary, when you talk about for you have a documentary back of your name, you know, man. That means you have to have some accolades, you know. That means all right. If me figure do a documentary about my life, I know. When they start talking about my baby mama drama, all type of sickness, you know what I say? But matter about a rich.
But hold on. Who you gonna get to produce it? Who you gonna get to film it? Are you that famous? Are you that famous?
I don't say Tyler Perry, but I don't know.
Are you that famous?
I don't know.
But we have famous people in front of
Yeah,
today.
man.
Right.
I mean, people
no
who pay
way.
them, people who
earn
pay
them dues.
People who pay them dues.
Earn them dues.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know, we are here tonight, and we not really put no we not say this lightly. When you say international, that means worldwide. I'm one of the few people, Uncle Stone Love. I think you did tell me about King Jammies. When King Jammies did come on New York.
Come on New York.
And actually carry them sound.
Them carry the sound.
So, you know, maybe
the sound, brother.
It makes sense to me, I know, because Jammies, I say,
That's
sound that where we have tonight, and one of the first. Remember, in England, never come from. I talk about around the corner, around so up, so England, you know, my youth. So, one of the first songs actually not selector, you know, not just record. I remember when on a computer and no disrespect to the what you call them something, the virtual DJ and Serato selector them, but me I talk about the box. So that alone I go broke somebody back.
May I tell you?
That alone. You know, man, I said when I first sound for left England and carry them whole entire song. We are gonna talk about whole heap of things tonight.
That's a long
you know what I mean? You see the backdrop already. The backdrop already. I gonna set the team. You see the speaker box them the back of me. You know what I mean? Like you already see the culture.
I dance with it.
Yeah, we change the
it.
whole backdrop. We change the whole approach. You know, me as a artist, as a selector, as a producer, as a promoter, I'm just so honored to have tonight's guest here tonight. Also, me do a one little movie last year at Jamaica with Mickey Settings and Mermaid Settings, and we also have a film producer here tonight. You know what I mean? So it's like me
listen. Right now we have the best. We have the best everything.
We come like a pitney in our candy store, right?
And we give thanks. We give thanks.
Till
Till we can't give thanks no more.
We're coming like a pitney in our candy store right now. So anyway, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome to the platform, you know what I mean, the co-owner, one of the founder them, of the V-Rocket International Sound System, all the way streaming, all the way in from Nottingham. Miss Lady V.
I know less to you, Mr. Marcus. I know less to you.
Even in the green room, man. We're so forward, Him so
okay.
We want to talk about the history committee.
Okay.
You know, with the thing, because Marcus would not have a reason to do a documentary on somebody where never have something back at them name. You know what I mean? So we want to talk to Lady V first.
So let me get it right.
Yes,
Mr.
right.
Marcus,
And
you did the documentary.
Exactly.
No, hold on.
All right.
Hold on. A stars on top of stars.
Star among stars.
Man.
All right. Lady V,
kick it off.
welcome to the platform.
Welcome, my brother. Enough respect. Thanks for having us.
There's an immense amount of admiration on my part, because we relate in so many different ways. You know, I say migrated early. You know what I mean? Jamaicans, obviously. A common interest within music. You know, I was a selector at one point. You know, help some youth build them sound. You know, depend some sound where they play all about. So we have so many different things in common. You know what I mean? It's a pleasure for me, you know, to have you here tonight when we know that you could have basically been anywhere, you know, in the world, and you choose for there so with we. So we rate and respect you.
Not only that, look where she's coming from.
Right.
Look where she's coming from.
Right.
That she left that environment to show us some love.
Yeah, man.
So
respect,
love, respect and honor.
And every aspect.
Respect.
Yeah, man. So I mean, we know you're not band big, so you know what I mean. So you know,
make you wait.
we kind of want, you know, go back, you know, to, you know, the beginning as far as you can remember, as far as you would like to, you know, enlighten the fans and, you know, the people who are watching now and the people who might go watch little more from this, because, you know, what we like to say is that this is a part of your legacy. You know what I mean? So whatever you would like to disclose about, you know, your experience is what we want you to put forth. So, you know, people don't get no kind of misconceptions. You know what I say? You know what I mean? So, you know, at the end of the day, I would assume that everything started in Jamaica for you, and where would that be?
Well, to begin the journey, just explain that my late parents from Spanish Town, back in the day, they used to listen a sound by the name of V-Rocket. That was the sound that them used to follow back in for them younger days. So when them forward at the UK now, those days now, this is, we're talking about the early 60s. So those days now, you find that black people couldn't go into the nightclubs them.
Mm.
You know, as people who have seen the documentary, or if they've not seen it yet, you would see signs: no blacks, no dogs, no ray.
Oh wow.
So what happened was they had to create their own entertainment. So my father built a little 50-watt sound system for the little community of Nottingham, and used to play in house parties. We call it blues parties.
Mama, stick up in 1 second. Repeat that again, please, and thank you. When you say them have to build them own because them wasn't allowed to go certain places.
No nightclubs.
Repeat
So
that to me.
Well, them build them own 50-watt sound system and call it V-Rocket after the name of the sound that them used to listen to back home. So them create them own entertainment, 50-watt sound system. You could even call it a sound system. You know, some people that probably call it a little component set for the local black community from back home. So it was house party, we call it blues parties. Right? And them do little cooking and people come play them domino and Lodi and them things. Then the same vibes I like you to have back home on weekends. People come and, you know, listen to the little set. So when me forward to England now, 1966, me come say this little set. So me pretty much grew up with my brothers and for them friends. We all go to the same school. So my sisters, them kind of leave home at an early stage. And it was like a destiny, you know. You come on this earth to serve a purpose. And me just grow in the music. So when we leave school, me decide say, all right, me never started up on the kind of scene that to begin with. But my brothers, them and them friends where we go to school with, you did have two brothers, Parliament and Reuben. Because my older brother was there before one of my younger brothers.
Right.
So when him take it over now, him see the talent of these two younger brothers, which is one of them is Marcus' father. Right. This is the producer of the documentary.
Wow.
And the other one was Marcus' uncle.
Wow.
So you have Reuben and Parliament.
Yo. Tell them, brother, this crazy.
So
Yes.
so them team up now. So them will come out the house and me wait for go college and me will hear them a complain say, boy, you want to see when I get paid tonight, and things wasn't how it should be. So I say, all right, like how me there home, me start do the bookings and try to take it a different direction. And this is how the journey started for me. So when me coming at the whole thing with them now, the first thing me do is say, all right, me I go to Jamaica for set a precedent where them days they know it was Channel 1 at Maxfield Avenue.
Wow.
Who came and in brothers them.
Wow.
This was before Jammy's time.
Exactly. I mean, like you know, we've had Sammy Dread over here. We've had Philip Fraser over here. Yeah, you know me. I said we've had Jano, rest in peace to Tabby Diamond. You know me. I said, but when you talk about Channel 1, you have to talk about all of these. What was the lure? I mean, because obviously that was not the only studio in Jamaica at the time, but what was the lure for you to actually venture to that particular? Was it like the hottest studio at the time? Like,
yeah, Channel 1 was the studio where did I go on with things. And then obviously Tubby's come on the scene.
Okay.
And then Jammies. But Just Crew from Ray Symbolic and Rankin Joe. Them kind of take me under them wings and at an early time introduced me to Ron there.
So how old were you at this time though? I
was in my early 20s.
Wow. Wow.
My early 20s. But my father used to travel there at Jamaica regular. So all the latest disco 45s and pre-releases and them thing there was a regular thing, you know. So this is how me obviously get involved with the sound thing, and that transition was the key thing really, because at the time there wasn't any female
Right. So
that was involved in the sound system culture in the UK at the time. So with that now, sorry, we started to keep our own dances. Things expand, and although the blues dances was always going ahead, right? We started to get into like the youth clubs them and different clubs in Nottingham until the sound began to grow. We start bringing in overseas entertainers.
Oh wow!
And the whole thing, the sound start build and get bigger, bigger equipment.
So what were some of the other sounds that were, on the same journey that you were on at that particular time, and how many of them did you either play alongside or even come across, on the way up the ladder?
Oh man, crazy sounds. Unity, Java Nuclear Power, Sir Castle,
Oh
Saxon.
wow.
Sovereign.
Oh,
Sovereign
wow.
Road through Outer Luton, Baron Turbocharge, Jungle Man, Quancha Tone. And I mean, Sir Clifton, those the sounds tropical. Those songs, some of them based in Nottingham, some different parts of the UK. And then obviously the songs them that used to come in over from Jamaica, when them used to play as well. Stone Love with Rory, with a Manjaro.
Wow.
Right? So Metro Media.
Wow. Wow.
So we do the full,
And I mean, why you be modest? Me know why you be modest neither, Cause me watch the documentary, I mean, no say although you selected them well equipped. Me know say 1 or 2 times you put a bug in their ears and you say, yo, if you drop that tune in your song, and why you don't play that one there, them thing that so nobody boy like say verse in the selecting aspect of things neither, you know song.
No, well, hear what now? I used to travel from the UK to New Jersey.
Right.
Right? And go Transco. That's where we get the steel, the blank dub plate them before me forward go to Jamaica. You don't know 25 blank in our box. So when me drop them days Scringy left from Channel 1, right? And was engineering run at King Jammy's. And joined by Bobby Digital. Right? So I was pretty much responsible for the spine of the dub plates them. You know, the nitty-gritty them. All of the top, the big songs them.
Whoa.
Super Cat.
Whoa.
All of them big artists that John Walt. Name them, man.
Whoa.
So let me ask you a question now. At those times for a female, did you used to get a certain fight or everything just go through easy?
Well,
because I know you probably was the only female back in those days doing what you're doing. So what was it like as a female around all these men doing what you do?
One of the things I can say is I was very much pretty protected by my brothers and the team and the fan base. What I would say, it wasn't easy. It was always a challenge because even keeping dances and would print with flyers and stuff, and I would be outside nightclubs 4 o'clock in the morning when people turning out, rolling out, giving out flyers. Other people, I would probably be the only female out there. Right? So people, me have to make sure my flyers them look top of top. Because the man them come out and them feel like say, oh, Fair flyer can't go, man. A female like your flyers. So those are the little obstacles that me used to face.
Right.
But
Right.
it was it working in my benefit in the sense that it made me a stronger person.
Right.
It made me more focused, more determined to get the sound to where we wanted it to get to.
I mean, those guys, you know, like you say, your brother, you know, and your brother did sanction Marcus' uncle and him father, you know, kind him notice them talent, you know, man say, you know, and then mommy and daddy, obviously, you know, them the kind of like plant the seed, you know. So when by the time when you took the realm now and you started to, you know, do business and conduct business, obviously there it was in complete contrast of what they were doing, because you came in with a business mind. But where would you say you guys had reached by the time you actually came on board?
Well, when I came on board, like I said, things wasn't as organized as it could have been. So that me coming on board was like the missing link. We started to do things different.
You change the whole dynamics.
Yeah, the dynamic changed. And
Yeah.
and the beautiful thing about it was the legacy started to grow in the sense that it was always a family sound.
Mama, stick up in 1 second. Sometimes them say anything after be a lady behind it was
But
successful.
overall settings couldn't run without merms, man.
Anything successful have to be a
Overall
lady
settings couldn't run
behind it.
without merms.
Real
You
talk,
come to
mommy.
a finger
Real
nation,
talk.
you know, master. You know, master. So like at the end of the day, yeah, we can plant the seed, you know. Even when you start talk about life itself, we can plant the seed, but if you don't have nobody to bear it, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
You get to me, so like at the end of the day, like the man them, if you ever, brother, when you watch a documentary, you're gonna see what I talk about. Like the man them a do them thing. One of them Achilles was that every time them venture out, them did a build a name for themselves, but the sound did have a habit of like breaking down every time it reached like in at the belly of the dance. You know me I say? Me say by the time Mama V company scene, you know man. Bookings, like all type of thing, everything just kind of like just reach a level.
Everything
where,
just take
yeah,
like a rocket.
yeah, literally,
Like a rocket.
just like a rocket.
May I forget the team credit still, you know, because we couldn't do it by myself.
Right.
So it was a team effort. Everything changed. So you would find the parliament would make sure the sound is right, that the equipment is right, the van book, the selector no theme part of what him have to do. So we all have a role for play. Right. So the whole thing started to come together better. We have meetings, we discuss things, how best to go forward, how can we be better than, you know, because the reality in this business, you know, to become good, right? You know, those days sound system was a competition. Who's playing the best? Who's playing the best? Who have a nice playing sound? Because we come from the days of entertainers, you know, where you play the vocal, you flip it to the B side, and you have the live entertainers them working on the sound. So you find, say, those days it was very competitive. Very competitive. Who have the best sound, who have the best entertainers, who have the best selection. So the teamwork, may I forget the team credit. Credit in the sense that it undone, because next year, you know, we 60 years old.
Wow.
60 next year.
Whoa.
Right? So the generation has passed on from my late parents to my brother and myself. Ruben and Parliament came in, right? And they changed everything because they was before me. Marcus' father and his uncle was actually before me. They had a youth sound that was running the place. Right? And this is where we saw the talent when you watch it, I don't want to tell you too much about the documentary if you're not watching.
No, me watch it. Me watch it. I mean, me know your fans I talk to, but me watch it and when me left so me go watch it again too.
You know what you say, about
them
me?
two brother made a massive difference with myself to the transition of where we are today, and to find that Marcus brother, younger brother Belly, who is selecting the song now with my younger son and Val B, who we brought in from Jamaica, right? This is the new generation, right? And this is how the legacy lives on. This is how the dynasty lives on. So we don't get to the documentary yet, but the reason why we're gonna get to the documentary is because Marcus has been a part of the journey of V-Rocket.
Yeah,
he
I mean,
resided in the UK until he moved to the US, and for years he's been saying, guys, on have to document the journey, not just for yourself, but for the industry.
Whoa. Now, man, it definitely, and you guys, you know, we're gonna talk about some of the accolades and some of the reviews that you've received thus far. I mean, I heard one of the latest ones that you've been accepted to I think it's a film festival or something of that nature, that 2023. And I mean, and this documentary released what, 2021 now?
Yeah, the documentary released last year, 2022.
Right. And you're still, but it's still evident, and it's still like let me look for what Fleer sent me. But it's definitely still active and noticeable in a lot of forums right now, because
still place residence right now.
So it hasn't lived out its lifespan.
No, man, it just
right.
It just in a reasonable way,
right.
but it not drop off a shape.
Yeah, man.
It a climb.
It reached well a place.
Yeah,
but it's
a climb. It's a climb. Yeah.
It's
a climb.
Just been accepted on the Caribbean Windrush
exactly. That me just said I got said.
So that's going to be shown, because this year is 75 years of the Windrush. So for people who don't know what the Windrush is where the people from the Caribbean came after the Second World War. In the Second World War, they came to the UK to help rebuild the country. And you know, so it's 75 years now since the Windrush generation came to the UK. So that festival, that film festival, has taken it. So maximum respect to them. And that will be screening in a number of cities throughout the UK.
Well, man. So like how we kind of like jump in at the documentary already, it makes sense for us bringing Marcus and all. We still can't talk about we can talk about female alkalians. We can talk about lady V alkalians. We can make she feel comfortable to see a familiar face pan the screen, because them two ugly brother have kind of intimidate a little, you know what I mean? So we're gonna bring
we cannot intimidate this lady. This lady is
if you are gonna go,
has make history.
If you are gonna go at Kingston 11, Kingston 13, you hear me? I tell you, in a them days there, when political war and type of shit I never write in the art.
Me personally is the first lady of dancehall like on this level that I've actually heard of.
Yeah, man. No, it's
so
different.
She's historical.
That term is loosely thrown around.
Yeah.
But if I would be in total agreement with you. If you did have to give a title of lady of the dancehall, it would definitely lady be.
We're not talking about entertainment wise, like DJ or anything.
Dancehall in general. Because if there was never selectors to play the records, their artists would not have an outlet for with them though.
And she changed it. She changed and from back in so long.
Yeah.
From way back when.
Yeah, man. So we could bring in Father Marcus Panicino, and then we still can just
so Father Marcus can enlighten some more things. Yes.
We can reason.
All right.
Yes.
Yes.
So anyway, without further ado, a warm overall settings welcome for our next guest, film producer. I mean, not even know, say, I the man named son and nephew, and it is like a family-run business, and that you understand.
Yes.
So anyway, without further ado, welcoming to the platform the man himself, Marcus. Marcus, what it go on, brother?
Yes, sir. Blessings, blessings.
Lady, for you see him bossy, you see how film vice heavy. Team production sound like a V-Rocket just turned out Big up yourself, my general. Welcome to the platform. Like me say, just like how we tell everybody we come over here, and like how we tell Mama Valerie, you know what I mean? You could have there anywhere in our world. You choose for there, so with we. So we appreciate of the fact that you would take the time out to do that. And not only, you know, did you do that, but for the people them we can't see behind the scenes, him kind of did help Mama V figure out how to even log on. You know, my second we have some little technical difficulty backstage, so it makes certain say we did get the opportunity.
Man, make sure we have Mama V over
here. Give credit for that too, brother. Give credit.
Respect.
Manners. I mean,
it's a family thing over here. We not do interview. We do reasoning. So the reason right now.
We thought that, you know, and if we never did get the whole insight from, you know, Mama Valerie, we were under the impression that, you know, that the sound had made an impact that kind of like sparked your interest, and, you know, maybe you are a historian, or, you know, maybe you just chose to do a documentary because that's what you do. We didn't know that you were so intricately involved in what was going. You're born and died. Like them say we jump off a head, fall for a shoulder, you know what I said? So like, all if anyone get round it, it's probably like you couldn't even get round it when you really think about it. Cause you're born in it. You know what I said? You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, you know, with your daddy being a selector and your uncle, you know, obviously, you know, sharing the stage with daddy, you know what I mean? I would probably say that I think it's safe to say that you grew up from a musical background as well.
Yeah, definitely. Ever since, you know, I knew myself, I always knew my dad and my uncle, my dad Parliament, who was the co-owner alongside Valerie, and Ruben, my uncle Ruben, always known them to be playing V-Rocket sound, you know? And so V-Rocket, I mean, I remember as a kid when they actually went to Jamaica in 87, you know? I remember when they returned after a 3-month tour, and remember how the trajectory of the sounds went to a whole new level where they started to dominate the sound system fraternity as a sound outside of London, you know, because back in them days, most of the big sounds came from London, you know, the Coxsone, the Java Nuclear, Unity, Saxon, and a host of others. You know, but what made V-Rocket very unique is that it was considered a country sound because they came from Nottingham, which is a smaller city in the East Midlands. And so for a sound coming from a place like Nottingham and competing with all the big sounds them in London and around the country, and not just competing with them, but giving them a hard time. Yeah, man, enough time. You know what I mean? They generated a respect that is still prominent to this day because of the impact that they had.
We get some thump to along the way still.
Yeah, of course.
Right. They come with the territory. You know? But Marcus, from your own personal experience, growing up in a musical household, like I say, your band come see your father and your uncle play V-Rocket. Did music appeal to you that early, and was it dancehall music or any particular type of music that jumped out at you initially? What was your experience with the whole music thing?
Yeah, well, definitely. Reggae music. Rubber dub,
Mhm.
dancehall. This is, as I said, it's music that I grew up around.
Mhm.
And sound system. So up until this day, you know what I mean. I still have a love for reggae music. Certain music I don't listen to.
Mhm.
Especially some of the newer dancehall music because of the content
Mhm.
of it. To me, it's just it's just madness, man. But
Right.
the roots music and, as I said, the rubber dub reggae style music, I still love that to this day because, again, that's what I grew up on. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking like catalogs of music. Cause when I listen from Studio One, you know what I'm saying? Go right up to, Jammy's, Digital B, all of these labels at the time. Obviously, in the 80s, Jammy's was the biggest producer, and one of the most prominent producers coming out of Jamaica, and the affiliation with V Rocket and Jammies was very close and very tight. That's one of the things that made V Rocket a powerhouse musically in the UK because of their relationship with the top producer at the time. And there was others, obviously, like Bobby Digital and Steely and a bunch of others that Valerie can tell you about. Yeah, Arrows. So that's what was one of the things that made V Rocket, a dominant force. Was the depth of their music, and
Right.
then as they progressed, as my dad and his partner in sound, I call him Brains, who was the builder for the sound. My dad and him built a sound system that was a force to be reckoned with, maybe one of the best playing sounds in the country and one of the most powerful sounds in the country. So when you combine that with a tough selector like Ruben, a manager like Lady V, and then the team that were dedicated and committed to the sound system, it was undeniable that V Rocket they had no choice but to become a force to be reckoned with,
Mad.
So being in Nottingham at that time,
Nottingham.
Nottingham, I can't pronounce it the proper way, but I don't know what we're talking about. Was V Rocket like the only sound system at that time there?
No, there were many sounds.
You had to compete against.
V Rocket was definitely the biggest sound.
Right. Being that
definitely the biggest sound, but there was no sound that I can remember that could really compete with V Rocket on that level. There was other good sounds like Success, you had Techniques, Celebrity, you had Black Star, Prophecy, a bunch of other sounds, but there wasn't on the level of V Rocket.
Earthquake, you had
Quancho.
Quancho,
Yeah.
Tropical. There was all local sounds from Nottingham. But them have a thing where you say was and is, but we're still here.
Right, right, exactly. And it's evident. Evident. I mean, like I said, she step out of event, ladies and gentlemen, to come conduct the reasoning right now. So you already know, say, it ain't normal. You know what I mean? 60 years old. Me not reach 60 yet. You know what I mean? Me hope for 60.
That's
you know
how
what I mean?
the whole of that me and you.
Exactly. You know
The
what
whole
I
of that
said?
me and you.
And they might do them thing.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to ask you, Lady V, at the time when like you said, Daddy and Mommy did embark on the journey, how long before the brothers did kind of like take it to a next level? What was it that was Mommy and Daddy still around when they kind of like hand the reins to somebody else for kind of like take it to a next level?
Yeah, man. Very much was around. My dad was a carpenter by trade.
Okay.
So him teach Marcus' father how to build boxes.
Oh wow. Whoa.
Cause him used to build the box them.
Mm.
Right? And him used to travel to Birmingham because the builder at the time, as you saw in the documentary, was went by the name of Legs the Giant. Him actually reside
Legs,
in the
yes.
US.
You got legs.
Right? So
Yes.
Legs was responsible for the tube amplifiers, the valve amplifiers, them time there. Right? And so for my parents was still alive then.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Them short many of the journeys. Not for the time them when we end up in some of the blues parties them. Some of them we're not supposed to end there. Right? And we'll go back the next day and the police them take out the son and board up the house, and my mother used to have to go to the station with a van to collect back the son.
Wow.
Sometimes some of the valve amplifier them broke up because two them don't know what them just pick them up and throw them in the back of the truck and them things there. So my parents them was on the journey with us.
Whoa. Whoa.
The house, the son used to keep at the house.
Whoa. So they didn't just necessarily hand you guys the reins and give you free range. They still had their input because, I heard, the selector them talk about like if them go out and them never have a good night, your father would come to them and
yes,
not necessarily rough them up, but like kind of make them put them on notice and make them know say, yo, here I go on. Like
you go wrong the night there.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Man.
Yeah, exactly. So so he definitely had input and it was a hands-on operation from the outset. I'm not sure when they departed this life, but what was the inspiration behind keeping it going after they ultimately had transcended?
Well, like we say now, it was just a natural thing, the love of the music, right? Ruben and Parliament, it was them life. Them, like I said, them did start up them own sound system, right? So it was just a natural thing. The sound just grew and start get bigger. Every year we would meet at the beginning of the year and plan and say, well, what do we want to achieve this year? Right? So like Marcus said, when 1987, when we decided we're going to go to Jamaica because the team, everybody was born in the UK, apart from myself and my brother who was active around the sound then. So we said the best thing, the nicest thing we could do is for the man them go to Jamaica, right, to see where this all is coming from. Right? And that's when the transition made, when we decide for save for a year and ship the equipment and go spend a 3 month over there. So it was a thing where
that was your idea.
No, well, it was a team effort. Like I said, January every year we used to have a meeting and say, well, what we want to achieve this year. And we set out the goals for each year. We set out the goals. This is what we want to achieve this year. And the idea come up that we should go Jamaica.
Got the roots.
Go at the roots. So we went to Jamaica. A part of it was a learning thing for everybody, right? We did fundraising. We do events up Jackshill. We go Maxfield Park. We do and donate funds that we raise out there to various places. Maxfield Park, children home. We got Grange Hill. We got all over the island, man. And this is how we ended up bringing over some of the selectors that you see in the documentary, because them start to work on the sound out there, and we ended up inviting them to come to the UK. And them come to the UK, spend 2-3 years with us, right? And make a name for themselves and the sound, as well as us bringing in other entertainers every month, every 2 months. And although it's a UK-based sound, our flavor is like a yard sound based in England.
No, I mean, no, that me I tried. I mean, fi develop a concept, fi put a sound pan a plane when you obviously could have just sent your selectors, with their dub box and Ray and them go over there. Because that are the norm, everybody.
But we ship it out still. We ship it out.
No, but still that alone.
Yeah.
Say, I'm not talk about, all right, so even from Jamaica to America, it bad and not so bad. But you talk about
England.
Different
man.
because the world,
you could have easily just bring the loudspeaker them, just bring everything else.
I'm not even a speaker, brother. Just send your selector and play upon a man. So Nowadays, a man just walk with him laptop and him backpack.
Yeah.
And wherever
Now, when we bring the full sound and
Like-
the generator for run the sound.
What?
Yeah.
All the
Generator.
And then, so imagine, nowadays selector want per diem, they want carry who they want carry with them, them want hotel room, them want the whole work. And you have them sing a whole sound. Like, no.
And I witnessed something like that personally.
With jammies.
With jammies. Because
When you hear that? When you hear
the
that?
first
You can't remember
time,
the year?
yeah, that was about 85.
Okay, all right.
85,
all
84.
right.
I was 16 years old.
But I gonna say the amount of ratings when me see, the king of film. Me, I wonder if a film book him tear the page the out about.
No.
If you say 85,
Yeah.
then you know what I mean, or something where.
Yeah, back in the early and the
But
reason why
still-
me can say me experience jammies, brother. It was 3 sound in the dance that night. And 2 sound don't play.
And when jammies
But
turn
when
on,
Janice turn on,
your heart jump out of your
me I
chest.
tell you, it come like a earthquake.
But that's all I can tell her.
Come like a earthquake,
Even at the
brother.
end of the day, me know me have a concept where say comparison is the thief of joy. So like everybody alkalates and them own alkalates, and you have to embrace whatever it was that you were able to accomplish. But when you look on the map, my youth, and you look on the distance between America and Jamaica, and you look on the distance between America and England,
yeah.
me still,
Yeah,
if me was a judge, me not gonna have to say, yo, me rocket, on a thing that normal.
Yeah, man, we ship everything from England to Jamaica.
What was the experience like for the man them where I got Jamaica for the first time and I played to the Jamaican crowd? What was the experience like for the sound overall and the team that you can recall or remember?
Well, it wasn't an easy thing, because what happened was when the sound reached Jamaica, them wanted crazy money to clear it. Although we had the documents to prove that it was a return, like you buy your return ticket to go home, right? It was a round trip thing. So them said them want with a leave a deposit to clear the equipment to take it off of the wharf. And we go to all government people and not get no help. And we said this looks sticky. So what ended up happening was the shipping company that we ship with is a company that my father used to, you ship, you create them and you barrel and thing. So it's a shipping company where is a Christian brother own the company. Where a lot of black people ship them barrels and crates to Jamaica. Transpac shipping company. So him decided that he was very impressed with the fact that we was going over there to do what we was doing, and him decided that he was going to put up the money to clear the equipment for it to come off of the wharf. So it did that, and we managed to clear the equipment, and the experience for the guys them was undescribable.
Mm.
You know, it's one of the, I would say it's the best experience, one of the best experience for them knowing that this was them first trip to Jamaica. Them a bring them full sound system, right? Them attract entertainers. Them attract them get to meet jammies and them down there cut the dubs them and we are travel all over the island.
Wow.
15 of us traveled
Wow.
and it was just amazing. So
Wow.
when we leave Jamaica and forward back to England now, the whole of England are wait
Wow.
to say what we're coming back with.
Wow.
The new songs, with new dubs. So like me say, me don't really want talk the things them too much because we want people to go
What?
to Amazon,
Yeah, man. Watch
go
it.
to
Yeah, man.
YouTube and
Yeah.
watch the documentary.
Yeah, man.
Because Marcus do a
Definitely.
great job.
Definitely. No, Marcus. You know, I can honestly say, I was watching the documentary last night, and I don't know what your background is as far as, you know, film production, but it can size up with anything when me see out there. You know what I mean? You know, just based off you know, what the quality, the content, the depth that you went to articulate everybody's individual experience, but at the same time, it came across as a collective, and I like say as something with piece together. So I mean, do you have a background within film production?
Hold on, before Marcus answer the question, Marcus, what
Yep.
was your? Did you select on the sound before you even get to what we are talking about the film production? Now, what was your direct role on the sound?
Him daddy and him uncle, man.
No, but
Yeah.
team role.
No, I never had a role in this. I mean, that's how the youth me used to hold the mic and DJ. You know what I mean? From time to time. When I was a little kid, we used to DJ and thing. So yeah, you know, little stuff like that. But I never got involved with the sound. For some reason as a kid, I had the desire, but my father always used to say to me as a youth, "I don't want you complain or sound." You know what I mean? So that was kind of always in my head. And him never really give me that run there. You know, but I just feel like it was just divine orchestration. Cause I never that God plan for my life. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but other than that, other than hold the mic and do me like a DJing, you know, on the carnival and them something there. I never really had a bona fide role in the sound, you know?
But as far as film production,
yeah.
Did you have a background in that prior to this particular documentary, or what?
Yeah, my background when it comes to like film production and video production, I started doing video editing back in like 2007. You know, and I really just started to edit like promo videos for events and stuff like that. And then from there I got better, and then I started to produce and direct music videos. And then I started to do like commercials. I produced a few commercials for different companies and stuff like that. And then I did a course at NYU, New York University Film School, an online course for TV and film fundamentals. And when I finished that course, that's what really inspired me to say, you know what, I'm gonna use what I learned from the course, and I want to do a film project. And I started writing a script for a film. But then I got the idea to do a documentary for V-Rocket, because you know, I knew that the history was so rich and the story was so unique. And it was something that I feel like needed to be documented, because the history of V-Rocket is so deep. But with the sound coming from Nottingham, I would always watch interviews with some of the other sounds, mainly from London. And I've always felt like they never gave V-Rocket the credit that they truly deserved. And what I also started to notice that if we never documented this history of V-Rocket, it risked being lost as the generation, like my dad and Valerie them, as they, get older, because it's just a cycle of life, right? Every generation recycles out. And sometimes if you don't document your own history, what tends to happen is that people will come and document it for you.
Wow.
And when they document it for you, a lot of things become misconstrued. And I feel like what the power of this documentary is that it's not just the V-Rocket family talking about their experience, but we were able to incorporate a lot of people within the sound system fraternity, from not just only in the UK, but from Jamaica, who could give their
brother Rory are one of my favorite selector.
Yeah.
From them time that till now.
Yeah.
I met them in person. Jammies. I mean David Radigan. I mean the list goes on and on and on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Squingy are one of the Tapanaris. Like so to be able to document that.
Yeah.
To be able not only to document that, because all right, anybody who know anything about what we're doing right now, like even this writer, so like at the end of the day, me not watch numbers, me not watch none of them something there, because I know that 2.5 years ago we embarked on this journey not even knowing the concept of what a podcast was.
Right.
He got Mickey settings, him look for me and him say, "My youth, you need to start a podcast." And I see him with him talk. And I say, "Mickey, what is a podcast?" And him say, "Me don't know about me, see everybody I do it, so we need to do one too." And when we end up go to Roops and say, we are going to embark on this journey, I did not know that we would meet the likes of a Flair, Lindsay, who would bring us the likes of a Shined, who would bring us the likes of a V-Rocket sound system, who would bring us the likes of Marcus R. So I'm saying this to say that yes, you can remember 1987 when them embarked on them journey, and at that particular time you were a little youth. And yes, you can remember your experience of when your band comes to your father at play, and you used to toast on the mic and do all the way you do. But at that particular time, if somebody did ask you, would you be the one documenting this story? You probably would look at them and not even know. We never talk about.
Brother, bring it even look further than that, no man.
Right.
Before that, Lady V, I mean, would she ever envision being the lady of V-Rocket that would take it to such that level?
That again, like me say,
You
we
see me?
can't go back. You know what I mean? So it's like we don't know the life that we don't know the hand that life deals with. But
Never
at the
know.
end of the day, how you go about it is what ultimately defines you. If you get to me, I say. Like, brother, like you never go in a film production, because like you say, you did start write a script. So at the end of the day, as a script, you did a pre. So and I like say you're going out, if you say, well, you're gonna do a documentary from my father and Mama Valerie and V-Rocket history. But it's an inner voice, inner you, when you choose for answer. Just like Mama Valerie come see the sound system, she could have go in a different direction.
I said, me no want nothing to do with no sound system.
You get
me I go turn nurse, me I go turn doctor, me I go turn lawyer.
Yeah.
But everything just come full circle for a reason.
Definitely.
Yeah, man, everything come full circle for a reason. I mean, let me tell Lady V prior to, when we actually initiated the conversation. To me, it's personal. You know what I mean? Because like me say, me tried every entry of the music. And at one point being a selector, you know, I forward in the business when dub plate was like the predominant thing. But if you talk about 60s, 70s, I go up. There was an era prior to that. Yeah, people there do dub plate, yes, but the predominant force of dancehall at that particular time was artists, a toast pan sound. Artists would have been coming like a dub plate. Not so you go, right? Tell me, correct me if I'm wrong, Mama V.
Yeah, them time the entertainers step on sound.
Right.
Sound system was the radio them time there.
Right. So
this is all you're gonna know about artists and them thing there.
Right. So I always hear about, you know, the experience in Jamaica. You know, me talk to the lady hands, me talk to the yellow man, me talk to, you know, would you name it? There's been 500 people who forward over here and come tell with them story. You know, I say, and you know, I know that being from the standpoint where I was building a sound, I always look to Jamaica as the source, the gauge, the blueprint, you know what I mean? Because that's where it start from. You know what I say? But at the same time, you start to develop things because of your environment, you know what I mean? Like different ways to do things, like, you know, street dance might not be as prevalent as them was in Jamaica, or, you know, because there's a climate change, or, you know, certain audience, or whatever the case may be. So you have to find strategic ways to get around that will ultimately evolve into what becomes the culture. You get to me? I say like evolution in a sense. But what I'm saying that to say, what was, like me say, me talk to the lady hands, me talk to the man them where usually Junior Cat, the whole of them will say, boy, I may have to usually sleep truck, figure a country, figure a slot on the stage and, you know, do me thing. Like, was there like a era in a Nottingham or England overall where the focus was predominantly on the artist opposed to the actual dub plate? And was V-Rocket a part of that era? Or, you know, just tell us something about, you know, the early days, 60s, 70s, 80s are come up.
Yeah, well, like me saying, we had with local entertainers them. Create the Bantan. Right? My brother Rankin. But like we said early on in the conversation, we started to bring in entertainers from Jamaica to keep that vibes, that yard vibes. Because you know, the yard style, we wanted to have that kind of flavor. So you find out when you again we're referring to the documentary, when you look back at some of what you see in India, we speak about the rivalry of V-Rocket and Saxon. Because Saxon came with their entertainers that created Sytem style. That you, the Tipper Irie, Philip Levi, and those artists around Sytem sound, right? So pretty much, those are the time when it wasn't just the entertainers, you know, the music played a part as well.
Okay.
Not necessarily not that the dub plate them have your name in it. It could be dub plate where your name not in it, but at the time, not a song not play.
No, nobody else not have it. So like more or less like what we would fondly know called pre-release or you know, white label or whatever. Yeah.
Right? It mixed different, right? And this was the great thing. With the relationship Marcus speak about with us and King Jammies, because Jammies had two sounds outside of his sound that him used to responsible for was V-Rocket and a son from London called Unity. Right? So most of the things them impress. At half of the press, we would get them.
Wow.
Right? Like him saying at the documentary, where I go to airport, and you know, you see a person, a flight, you don't even know them. You take the description of them clothes and you get them to dub them for care up and you go to airport, go meet them. Right? So back in those days, the 70s and 80s, yes, entertainers and the music, and of course, the sound system. Because that's the difference, with then and now. A lot of selectors, them never own a sound. Some of them never even buy a 45.
Yeah, real talk.
Everything download.
Real talk.
Free.
Real talk.
So, from them time that we was always apart. Like we said, we are come from the school of hard knock.
Right.
So
now me get it, man. Me totally get it. I hear that there was a bit of, out of all of the sounds that reside in England, I don't know why the word rivalry gets invoked into a conversation with you and Saxon. But I don't know if you want to touch upon that, or like, how did it become a rivalry when there was a sea of sounds, and why was there not a rivalry with anybody else opposed to you and Saxon? Like, what was the bad blood there?
We had other rivalry, rivalry with us and Java. We had rivalry with Unity.
Okay.
Because Unity, like me say, it was a sound that Jammies used to send tune regularly. We had rivalry with Caxton.
Oh, okay.
Right? So other rivalry was there, but the rivalry with us and Saxon now was something different. If we play midweek, if we play upon a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, any day of the week, it ram.
Yeah.
Roadblock.
Yeah.
Them base of London, we base a country. At the time, we was the country sound that could take on Saxon.
So how far was the distance between where you are and Saxon Sound was located?
Well, Nottingham to London is like an hour and a half drive.
Okay.
But promoters
So basically, Philly to New York.
Philly to New York.
Philly to New York.
Right. So promoters can put on them part. When them book V-Rocket and Saxon, them can put on them part. Because them know them got a full house. And them get a good dance. Them get tune. Them get entertainers. You have a saying, today for you, tomorrow for me. So, some of the dance them is a good night in the office for them. And a bad night for us.
Right.
And some of it is a good night for us and a bad night for them. So that is, and some people don't realize the word rivalry. Let's be honest. Internationally, Saxon would have a bigger name than V-Rocket.
True.
Because of the entertainers that they add on their sound, that name for themselves. Because in this business, you have to be honest. Right? Honesty take you a long way. However, a little bad country sound used to get trouble.
Chabba. Yeah.
When one say we can't, a man might say, why we used to hear so them used to be. You cannot use the word rivalry if you don't understand what it means.
Yeah, man, real talk.
Rivalry is when promoters now go, you can't have the word rivalry if we not thump them up and them not thump up we.
Yeah, man, real talk. Cause this would be a one-way street. You know what I mean? Basically, them a bully, or bully them. You know what I mean? It can't be a one. It have to be a two-sided situation. Yeah,
that's right.
I understand. Totally understand.
Definitely.
So
that is why you find now that answer to your question. That is why you find that rivalry stood out more than any other rivalry that we did have.
So for a lot of people looking in, on the outside looking in. One of my first experience, from which part me did there, and there was something. Obviously, Radigan probably would have been more noticeable to me residing in the States. You know, knowing about Barry G, always looking to Jamaica, keeping my hand on the pulse of Jamaica to kind of like understand, you know, Wagwana Jamaica and how to gauge my thing as at that particular time I was a selector. So even prior to hearing about Saxon, you know, Radigan was one of my first gateway to England. Have you ever shared a stage with Radigan? A lot of people probably thought that, you know, he was a novelty because of his color, but I actually can appreciate his knowledge from music. And what are your personal thoughts on David Radigan? Because he obviously featured your documentary and gave his honest opinion on V-Rocket Sound.
Well, enough respect to David Radigan, you know. Over the many years, I remember one of the very first dance that I kept in the Adlib Club in Nottingham was with David. And competitively, us and David has never clashed.
Okay. Okay.
But even today, many dances we still perform on the same stage. Right. So we do dates with a lot of dances with David still. And I tend to book him on a number of events that I've kept over the years as well. David is a good friend of mine. Far from the word novelty, that don't even come into it for me.
Right.
David is a lover of reggae music.
Yeah, man.
He knows the history. His life has been reggae music. And I commend him for the input that he's put
Yes.
into the works. Coming from England, traveling the world, right? And you know, for anybody to deny him of what he's achieved over the many years, then they're on a different planet.
Right.
David is, I commend him for what he's done.
Yeah, man. David is a true historian. I'm always a go give you a history back at the song them when I play. I go jump over to Marcus real quick because, like I said, time is definitely of the essence. You know what I mean? And I know you're actually at that event and you step out of that event. Marcus, you know, took the time out for forward over here and come talk to me. So I go close it out in a sense. You know what I mean? But more and talk to Marcus real quick. Then I go jump over, talk to Lady V, then I go in it. You know what I mean? But Father Marcus, my general, it's like me tell you, this thing that you embarked on, that's continuing to climb even a year later. When did you develop the concept for doing this actual documentary? How long ago? Because it released last year. This year it's already solidified a spot in a film festival that's been around since God knows how long. When did you develop the concept? What year did you develop the concept for this particular documentary?
Yeah, I would say the idea, the vision for it came around, I'll say 2019. And we shot the first interview here, well, upstate New York with Lex the Giant, who is the original sound builder for V-Rocket. And then the plan was to travel to the UK, and then after going to the UK to travel to Jamaica. But COVID hit. You know, so you know, COVID slowed down everything.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So we had to, you know, pause and wait for the pandemic to start to ease up a little. So come 2021, yeah, towards the end of 2021, when some of the travel restrictions started to ease up a little for the UK, I was able to travel to the UK and do the shooting, the filming, I should say, in the UK. So it was all over the UK, from Luton, Birmingham, London, North London, South London, and Nottingham. And then came back to New York, and then I went to Jamaica February 2022 to shoot to film the Jamaica part of the documentary. So yeah, dropped in landed in Jamaica and just did a whole lot of work, man, from Jammy Studio, link up Sky Juice over Portmore, you know what I mean, link up the DJ, them Penny Irie and Teacher Desi, who used to be on the sound in Spanish Town. And yeah, so did that and then came back and then just started editing, you know, and the editing obviously took a few months because it's a lot of footage. And I think by maybe May, I had the first draft of the documentary that I sent to my dad and Valerie and my brother Belly, and then they looked over it, and there was a couple of things that we wanted to adjust and a couple of things that we wanted to change, just minor things. Did those adjustments, and then Lady V and the crew got things ready for the premiere, which was at a movie theater in Nottingham.
That's what I was about to ask you. So from your mind to your computer to you pitching it to them to ultimately being on a big screen, like what was that? What was going through your mind as this continues to climb and still even to this day named Dear When Rush know, you know what I mean? Like so, you know, like what are your thoughts why all of this is transpiring?
Well, you know what? It's a blessing, you know, because at the end of the day, this was more of a passion project, you know, where I was just passionate about documenting, you know, my family's history. You know what I'm saying? And so, but it just went from one level to the other. So once the film was done, I said, all right, let me try distribution. You know, so I went to a film distribution company, and followed all the protocol and the instructions and submitted all the metadata that was needed for them to consider distributing it. So sent in all that information. It was a lot of information and a lot of things that they needed. But once we sent it, within 24 hours, they cleared it for quality control, which was amazing to me. And then the first streaming platform that actually took the documentary was one of the biggest streaming platforms in the world, which is Amazon Prime. You know, so we got on Amazon Prime, which was amazing to me. I couldn't believe it when I actually got the notification that Amazon Prime had selected the documentary. And then, you know, you got Tubi TV, they took it next, and then Zumo. And up to this date, we have 13 platforms, streaming platforms worldwide that have took it. Yeah, even up to just a few days ago, Cineverse requested the documentary. And it's just been groundbreaking, you know what I mean? Because it's the first sound system documentary that has been published on an Amazon platform.
Wow.
And all of these other platforms. So just like how V-Rocket back in 87 was the first sound to carry their whole sound system from England to Jamaica. Right now, V-Rocket does make history again. You know what I mean? By being the first sound system to have their documentary.
And then we have to go back with Valerie being the first, you know, lady. You know what I mean? So it's like it's just a lot of first.
Yeah.
Superseding all of the first. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know, for who they're on the live, you know, for who are going to on the live 20, 30, 40, 5 years from now, is there, if there's anything that you want them to know about, not only V-Rocket, But Marcus Hall, you know,
No,
you,
but before you even say that, I wanna ask Marcus this: being doing this documentary, being so successful, do you have plans to do like movies or anything like that for
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, the script that I've been working on, that is something that I want to do. But also, Lady V, actually presented a really good idea, a film idea, which I think would be very successful if we can execute it in the very near future. So I'm not gonna really spill the beans on that, but look out for it. You know what I mean?
Can I be an extra?
Yeah, yo, maybe because we want shoot it worldwide again. You know what I mean?
and definitely need some shot. And definitely need some shot people in our movies. So. Yeah. If you want some dwarf feed there, you definitely
Bro, I'm 5'3", yo. I'm 5'3". Yeah.
All right,
I'm 5'3".
Like me tell you, you could have done anywhere in the world. We don't want to hold you up much longer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't want to hold you.
Finish hear the man about the movie where I do the man.
No, I'm not talking. You know, the man said no.
In our Philippines.
Aside to my using of where yourself, man. No, but
no, link
question,
with so can be some extra though.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
The question the media. You make me forget the question the media asked a while ago to blood clot. Yeah, I want me to say to you a while ago before I was so rude.
You were saying something about what would I want people to know. Yeah.
People who are gonna watch this, come remember, you know, this is a part of not only V Rocket legacy, my legacy, you know, overall City's legacy, Lady V legacy, but also Marcus Hall. You know what I mean? So people who are gonna watch this when them finally catch the wave of we really are going, because one have a going is something very innovative, very special. So if there's anything that you would want anybody who are watching now if you know, or 20 years from now if you know about Marcus Hall and the reason behind why you do all of this, what would it be?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I would want this documentary to serve as an inspiration to other filmmakers and just other visionaries. You know what I mean? A lot of people they have visions, they have ideas of things that they want to do. The only difference between me and a lot of other people is that a lot of people have vision, they have ideas, but they never make the first step to accomplish it. You know what I mean? And what I would like people to be inspired or the inspiration that I would like people to receive from this is knowing, say, you know, an individual had a vision to do something, which was a film, and he didn't have the biggest budget. All he had was a desire. He had skills and just the heart to do it. A vision like this, a million things can go wrong. You're shooting a film in 3 different countries. You know what I mean? But, you know, I would want people to be inspired to just step out on faith when you have a vision, man. You know what I mean? And just really make the move. Because they say a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step, right?
And people, the initial, basically in a nutshell, when we get from everything, what the general I say right now is that it all starts from believing in yourself. And for your belief, you know what come shortly after? You know. So that means that nobody can tell you nothing. But you have to believe in yourself, because at the end of the day, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else, you can't expect nobody else to believe in you. And that we get from it. And I salute you. I'm going to take off Daddy Lee settings at, you know, be coming out of the at, you know, you know, be to you for your contribution. The last thing we're going to ask if we do is tell the people them which part for reach up on your social media so them can see your future works and, you know, whatever else you have to offer so them can follow you, do the whole works, and then also tell them which platform them can find the documentary on.
Yeah. My social media is Instagram, the Marcus Hall. You can also check out Kingdom Time Films and Kingdom Time Media. And as far as where the film is available, as of now, it's available on Amazon Prime, Tubi, Nuclear Home Video, TCL, Zumo TV, Alta TV, Free Movies Plus, Rewarded TV, Erago TV, and Cineverse just selected it as well. And it's also just been delivered to Onyx streaming network. So yeah, right now it's on 12 streaming platforms.
Wow.
Plus it's also on there's I can't remember the name of it right now, but there's another platform it is on as well. But yeah, it's all over the place, man. So you can just Google B-Rocket documentary, B-Rocket International
And
Sound
do
System
remember
documentary.
just recently been accepted to the Windrush Film Festival, you know what I mean, which is something that's been in place for how long now?
Yeah. What that actual festival?
Yeah. But
I think it's coming up. It's been a few years, but it's also been accepted to another film festival in Canada, which
Wow.
is Caribbean Tales.
Oh,
That
wow.
is a big film festival that's been going for, I think, 16 years now.
Wow,
The biggest Caribbean film festival in Toronto, Canada. So
Well-
it will be featured there in September.
As me told you, my youth, like Daddy Lee tell you, we
just want
definitely,
be extra,
we definitely
you know.
want to be we extra. We
You
want
just
we
want be
extra
extra.
spot, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're gonna keep a link, you know what I mean? Big up
Definitely.
respect, salute in every
Respect.
aspect, and thank you for taking the time out to forward over here, and even more importantly,
Mr. Marcus Hall,
to make
settings.
it possible for Lady V there.
Yes, much respect.
Lady V, like me say, me know you were actually at an event, you know what I mean, and you took the time out to come and forward over here and come all a reasoning with us.
All the way from London.
Yeah, I mean, are you in Nottingham right now, or are you in another part of London?
Well, I want to tell you, we are in Stevenage.
Wow.
Like I said, we left the complex.
Mhm.
Where it's an event called Cocoa White.
Okay.
So it's all white settings, 5,000 people plus.
Wow.
So for the last 2 hours, we've been sat in a service station, all in a vibe, you know.
Wow.
And thank you so much. Thank you
we
so
give
much.
thanks to that. And
But to add to what Marcus has just said, what I want people to take from this documentary, especially the sound men, them, and women, because there is a lot more women involved in the sound system industry now, is to document their journey. You know, it's important that they tell their story themselves. We want museums that people can archive for the younger generation now, to can look back and be able to see about the King Adis, the Bass Odysseys, the Mighty Crabs, the Kilimanjaros, right? The Saxons, the Love Injections, all the big sounds, them, the Stone Loves, the Bodyguards.
yeah, man.
There's so much. I can name sounds until tomorrow.
Yeah, man.
They need to document their journey.
Yeah, man. I read that, man. Yeah, man. I
Because
sound like.
right? It will be there forever.
Yeah, man.
So it's not just about ourselves. It's to hope it inspires other sound systems to do the same.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah, man.
please go to the platforms, watch the documentary, right? And I hope you get the inspiration
But
to follow in the footsteps. And thank you so much for having us. And
No, it was the pleasure was all ours. And
my brother, I have to say this, Lady V, thank you so much for having us, giving us the time, because you are the first real lady of
real
dancehall,
talk, man.
and you are the first
and
we have over here as far as lady of
after,
dancehall.
after year, me want know about the secret for how you look so young, because more get some of them kinky out of my face, and if you in that business for so long, you know what I mean? I still look like you're in your 20 and they sit there, you know what I mean? Like we need to know what I'm going. And them say,
well, I'm gonna have to contact Flair from Acclaim PR. Enough respect going out to Flair, because she's doing great things for V Rocket International.
Yeah, man, definitely. We love Flair.
Big up Flair. Anyway, you're the Flair, big up yourself.
Big up yourself, Flair.
And of course, I have to always big up the people, the team. But Parliament, Ruben, Belly, Val B, Kino, Firemark, DJ Malls, Jeffrey, Rankin, right? The full family.
Yes.
I have to big them up. I have to commend our late parents, Mr. and Mrs. All.
Exactly.
My parents, Mr. and Mrs. Robinson.
Yes.
Right. But most of all, I have to big up the people them that have supported us over the many years. Some of the people them that even if them did lift out a box, wire, roll up the wire them that's not here with us no more. Bolo that drove the van with the sound over the many years that's no longer with us. We can name so many of the guys them that is not here with us no longer, but gone, but no way they will ever be forgotten. So, there's so much people we have to thank along the way, a part of the journey. So, long live V Rocket Sound. It handed over to a younger generation now. They're doing great things. And follow us on social media. It's simple, V Rocket Sound.
Exactly. Big up yourself, Lady V, and once again we thank you.
Queen, the real queen, the original queen of dancehall.
We thank you for taking the time out, and
guess what? She created history for us too, bro.
Yeah, man.
You created history for us.
What do I know?
First lady original dance.
Forward over here. Yes.
Forward over here.
So the world may know you as Lady V, but from your forward, come over here to we in our eyesight, your name Lady V
Settings.
You know what I mean? So you're a part of it.
Look out for us, because we'll be coming to America soon before the end.
Right.
So look out for us.
All right. Salute. Big up on every aspect. Love can't done. X amount can't count. Big up
overall settings, let me tell them something. Philadelphia, you see, when it comes to overall settings, you can't beat them. When it comes to talking about reggae music, dancehall, you can't beat them. Overall settings, the biggest and the baddest.
Blah, blah, blah. Big up Lady V. Up there. Yeah, we got no plate for the sound on a pioneer promoter on a can't chat to it.
We create history today. She gave us history.
Up top, man.
She gave us history.
Big up Flair.
Love and respect, yeah? More like
all right.